It's hell, man. But that's why I always do it in Discord on stages and stuff.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We can do it via the phone. It's the same thing at the end of the day. Yeah.
All right. So, I guess I don't even remember how it started. Did I reach out to you guys, or did you reach out to us? I don't even remember.
So it's funny. Like basically, I shot you guys. I kind of slid into the DMs a little bit by sending. Well, first off, like the direction we kind of wanted to take ourselves as a protocol was we first wanted to kind of focus and see on Comet itself and see like how the other protocols are kind of panning out and seeing how like who will kind of rise from all the stuff that just happened the past few weeks. And we didn't want to kind of associate with any of that because we wanted like people that are investors for us to know that we weren't part of. We just don't want to be associated in any of that light. But we saw a lot of good things that came from Vapor in itself. The first thing is your guys' dev is doxed. He's a co-host in this chat as well. And we saw a lot of good things that you guys are providing, a lot more utility, and we love for that too. And essentially I was like, you know what? I was talking with Moon and we were like, you know what, we like Vapor could be a potentially good collaboration with us just because I feel like we all have the same goals in mind, which is having the investors' interests at heart. And we all want, to promote sustainability, to promote transparency. And the best guy 100% for that is, D2 Handers, Nylock. Like that guy's all about that with the union of transparency and what have you. So we're excited to be here. Thank you for hosting this. I know it was kind of a rough start in the beginning because it's my first time kind of doing a Twitter space, I should say. But, sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone, got to get out of that Discord lobby and kind of just, our Discord server and just kind of, explore new options. But yeah, man, everything. But yeah, I sent a little DM to answer your question. Sent a little DM of like what you guys kind of saw, except I think I flipped it. I flipped the emojis. It was a cloud plus a B, not a B plus a cloud. And I got kind of flamed by that in the comments. It was actually really funny. I got to be a lot more mindful of my emojis in the future, right? But yeah, and then we spoke on Sunday or Saturday of this past week. And essentially when I spoke to you guys, and the way I always like to do it too, and Nyla can kind of speak on this, is every partnership, every collaboration that Comet is going to associate themselves with, we itself will gauge the characters about who we're going to associate ourselves with. That's just personally like principle on my end, just because, and just the team's end is because we really truly want good intentions and people with just good intentions in general, handling the investors, like just handling just investors hard at nature, if that would be the best way to word it. But yeah, like basically you guys have great principles, great characters, and to have the option to work with you guys and potentially set something up, is definitely on the table. I don't see why not at this point.
Yeah, I agree. And, kind of the same sentiment, just to kind of echo what you were saying, when Jose and I were talking about, I guess early on when we first launched, one node project was buying another node project. And like, all right, well, looks like everybody's going to scratch each other's back and this and that. And then when we kind of saw what was going on, we're like, all right, let's take a step back here and kind of see where this all plays out. And I think, I don't know who launched first, you or us, but what do we launch on, like the 15th or something like that? And we doxed Jose right off the bat because we kind of saw the way everything was going. And we started this project, honestly, for fun and to build a community, to do what we thought the other nodes were doing and, kind of creating passive income for everybody else. And then I think they just came in with bad intentions. They got so into it and they're just like, man, there's no way out. Let's take the money and run. So I think we took a step back and we're like, all right, let's kind of see who has the same characteristics as us. Like, who's building, who's doxed, who's very transparent in the community, and who has clear communication. And, that's what we found with you guys. And Jose and I kind of talked about it a little bit, and, we're glad to make the partnership work as well.
I appreciate that, man. Seriously, like, I do want everybody to know, like, we at the team have huge respect for, and personally myself, have huge respect for what you guys did for, the people that were holders for Brig. And I think Colin was telling me that you guys did as well for Chad, the people that in Chad.
We didn't do Chad. We did Brig, and I think Brig was like, at the time it was like 870 holders, and it was funny because like the day before they rugged, somebody from their project reached out asking if we wanted to partner. It was just it was odd timing.
We were trying to help them from the background.
What's up?
Sorry, say it again.
We over at Thor were trying to help them from the background. We were trying to help them as they were bleeding through dev team after dev team. I think it's important to notice, and we can all hate on Brig as much as we want, but they weren't a rug. By definition, they weren't a rug. They just failed. They failed. They had devs that just threw in the towel, and instead of pushing through it from the admin side of it, they just straight up went, hey, you know what? We're done. We're going to run away, basically, and close up shop, which is, just a negative action for everybody. So that's the reason I also really love Vapor is, you guys have done things right, and you guys have tried to set things right for the Brig owners. There's no way that you could ever return the money. It's not your fault or anything like that. But, making the right steps to correct that bridge is really important.
No, 100%. It's the principle at the end of the day, right? You guys saw a bunch of holders that were, at fault. And at the end of the day, guys, the whole point of all this stuff is we want you guys to know that a lot of us, we're trying to be a union. We don't want any of you guys to think like one protocol is better than another. At the same time, we just want to promote the transparency as much as possible for all of you guys, because the last thing we want, like everybody in this chat is extremely early. Right, like all these protocols are like, like I think Thor's oldest one was just like a month and like a week or something like that, right? So it's essentially like all these protocols are still in the infant stages, and a lot can happen. And you guys are all new, right? Like everything's happening so fast, and we're all early in it. So if as the future progresses and how we have bigger goals to make this expand to like day-to-day traders and normal people that are in cryptocurrency, not really in the DeFi 2.0, 3.0 realm, but in like just DeFi or into, like just crypto in general. We really want to be a good forefront for them so that their first experience isn't going to be a rug and pull or just a project that fails, right? The last thing we want is, because, word of mouth is the best type of marketing at the end of the day. The last thing we want is someone's first hand experience with like just getting into DeFi is just going to be a pull. And then at that moment, they're going to tell their cousin, the mothers, whatever, and be like, hey, this type of industry is a scam, don't invest in it, what have you. But as long as we all kind of set forth and be as complete transparent with you guys as possible, you guys like the roadmap we set ahead, and basically just keep delivering on providing more utility for our protocols, I see a really bright future for everybody in this,
Yeah, I agree. Like you said, the marketing is kind of just word of mouth once you get your community going. I mean, up until the last couple of days, we had some people submitting some artwork and some videos and stuff like that. But then the last 2 days has been like a barrage of awesome art from people popping up in the community. I think I haven't hopped in your Discord yet, but I mean, I can speak for Jose, I think, here, that I've never seen a Discord the way ours is. And, Nylock, we owe a lot of that to you and your team, Renegade. You guys have been awesome. We owe a ton of that to you guys. And, I see almost no negativity in there. Yeah, there's questions and people get, a little worked up sometimes. But overall, I mean, it's like Zen going in there. There's no backlash over anything. It's crazy. I've never seen it before. But when you build a community, you're transparent to your community. You kind of bend over backwards to some of their odd requests sometimes. Those are the people that are really going to love you, and especially the ones that, got in skeptical, maybe even called you a rug on Twitter, in your Discord. Those are the ones that really love you when you prove them wrong.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it just takes time, right? And I have huge respect for a lot of just promoters out there who promoted that, because at the end of the day, they want to provide as much protection for their audience, and I'm all for that. They're basically saying, wait, sure, like rog is kind of a derogatory term, and there's like a ton of negative connotation associated with that. But at the same time, I understand the perspective, which is we have to prove that we have true utility behind us. and that we're not just, throwing out these crazy APIs and all that stuff, So I love that, because now we have actually a chance to kind of show them and be like, you know what, we're a lot more different than you like anticipate and what have you. And then over time, people will slowly start opening up. And like I said, we don't want their first experience, or just normal people's first experience, to be associated with, something that isn't as sustainable. And I think
Exactly.
like it's about financial freedom at the end of the day for a lot of these investors and everybody coming in. We all want to have a better life for one another.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's wanting a better life for your community. I think that's our drive. I mean, Jose is just a nut. He's up like all night coding and stuff. It's amazing. But some of the stuff that when I sent you a message, earlier, we wanted to talk about. Like I said, a lot of people just ended up investing in other people's projects, and that's probably not what this partnership will be. I mean, we can talk about that later, but some of the stuff that I think we can do is, we can help each other with looking over contracts. I want to start, a group chat between, your whole team and my whole team. And we can say, all right, hey, I want to launch this project, or I want to launch this contract. Would you take a look at it for us, and stuff like that, where I think that's where the strategic partnership's going to be.
No, 100%. And I think this is going to play out extremely well for Colin's like union of transparency, right? I think that if there's a way where all the developers and we all can kind of come together as one, and kind of, because at the end of the day, we shouldn't be spending our liquidity on audits when we have talented developers in each protocol, right? We should be focusing on providing like more utility case for, or just revenue streams in our protocol. So if there's a way that we all can combine from different heads, like from different protocols in it itself, and we go from that method. I'm just throwing this in thin air too, right? Like a lot more needs to be done, and a lot more legitimacy needs to be proven by just everybody on every end. But 100%, like it's getting like reviewing the smart contracts, what have you. Obviously, right now we are in a stage where we are constantly pushing out new features and updates. But that is definitely something that I do think that this collaboration can benefit from on both fronts.
Yeah. I mean, Jose, any comment on that?
Yeah, I just want to add that I love that idea when you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm totally up for that. I would love to, to help everyone to as much as I can, like doing code reviews, avoiding that we get that we might get in trouble because we made mistakes. I mean, it's funny because when Vapor launched, we had an issue with our first contract, right? So our treasury wasn't kicking in, and I got a lot of help from Coffee was helping us trying to find developers that were awake at that time. So imagine if we actually have that in place. I don't know if I'm explaining myself, but having a group of all the Nodes protocol developers, and or even outside Nodes protocols,
Yeah.
And just so you, sorry to cut you off, but just so you guys know, this is our like second conversation that we've had. The first conversation was kind of introduction between Vapor and Comb. So basically a lot of the things that we're going to kind of come up, we've already had kind of like previous like talks and messages and like how we're going to design this out. But we want full transparency for you guys. If there's no back end or hidden messages behind it when we talk. So we're going to try to keep AMAs as public as possible. I think I cut out for a sec. Sorry, got a call. But basically, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. But basically, we want to keep all these conversations with us as public as possible, so you guys know exactly what's going to happen behind the doors, and we go from there. But reviewing smart contracts and contracts prior to launch, 100%, I agree with that. Like help with UI testing or anything before launch, definitely. A lot of this like market trends, like you were suggesting, like I feel like there's a lot that we can all work with as far as setting up the best success for from both protocols in it itself.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like what Jose was saying, so when we launched, we had some features in place to, some anti-bot and anti-whale prevention stuff just to kind of keep it as fair as possible. We had a fair launch, we had a stealth launch, and the contract was blocking our team account, which we use for marketing and airdrops and stuff like that. And our treasury account was blocking them from getting filled up. So we probably cost ourselves, I'm going to say, Jose, probably like 400 grand. Which we could have invested and helped with buybacks and stuff like that by now. But Coffee was very helpful with finding some devs in the spur of the moment to help get us back on track. And it was a maybe 2-hour migration period before everything kicked off again. And luckily, our community was patient and things are running a lot smoother now.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
And then what have you guys got coming up next?
So I guess basically, yeah, I'll speak for this. So a new feature we're gonna we have a few features that we're gonna launch off. But I think the biggest announcement, I'll give you guys a quick little alpha as far as is we've noticed that our price has kind of risen the past week, and it's becoming, owning a node for Comb is going to start becoming unattainable for a lot of new investors.
Yeah.
Or people in general that want to just they're on the verge of investing or what have you, and they don't really know if they want to just kind of ape in or just kind of jump into it. Just kind of want to jump into a protocol and spend like $1,000 or $2,000, right, depending on the node cost. But that's, for some people around the world, that's like unattainable. So what we're going to release, within a day or two. We're going to come out with a lower tier option than our top bar hive, and essentially this will be 3 Comb tokens will essentially equate to 1 hive. Obviously, the rewards are going to be lower because it's the lowest tier. However, if you're an investor that's on verge about investing into Comb or what have you, this is, I think, a great step where you can kind of put your foot in the water and see if you believe in the vision of the protocol, and see if the features that we keep launching out are up to your standards. Right. We have a few other things. Moon, do you want to kind of touch base on kind of the universal endpoints or the EU that you got?
So we've deployed a server or an instance so that we can host our nodes also in EU, so Frankfurt specifically, Central Europe, and then we have one local at US West. So yes, look forward to that. We have basically 2 locations that it's basically deployed on now, and that should be helpful for people just across the world. We know that a majority of our demographic is actually from the US and in Europe too, through our analytics and through our metrics. We are seeing better latency with our tests. So look forward to that. And in addition, we have some UI updates. We have a calculator for attacks. I don't know if I should be saying all this. I don't know. This
Might as well give the people what they want now. Let's give them an alpha for a few days.
And then
it's a benefit to join the call.
Yeah, nodes are edible through name. So we have a couple of things coming up. You guys just stay tuned. It feels kind of weird saying that in a partnership talk, but hopefully it's okay.
No, you're good. So I think that'll be cool. I know a lot of projects have seen a big uptick in volume and price when they update the UI, which is actually something that we haven't done yet, but Jose is almost finished with it. Jose and his team, they're almost done with it. Because especially if we're going to be transacting millions of dollars, you want the people to see a nice, professional, clean website when you get there. Our website's nice and clean. Our app's not there yet, but we're adding some stuff like that as well. We actually just passed a vote today to buy an avalanche node, a validator node.
Congratulations!
So, thank you. So we do all voting on Snapshot, by the way. I don't know do you guys vote where, like in Discord, or do you do it yourselves? Or
we haven't had votes, official votes yet, but I am working on a DAO smart contract so that it queries from the nodes, so that you'd vote through your account, your address, and there'd be no false verification or anything. It'd be purely through the blockchain.
That's what we do on snapshot.org. So I'm on there now. I think we've probably done 10 proposals so far. We did a first marketing proposal, whereas everybody voted that we don't do any marketing until like a new website launches, and that passed pretty well. And everything, I think the community all has the pretty same ideas in mind of where we want to go and the vision of the communities in unison. And then we set quorum as well for where the vote has to get to in order to pass. If it doesn't pass, pretty much we go with what the majority voted for. But like I said, today we voted for Treasury deposit number 2, which is a avalanche validator node, which is exciting. Not just the node itself, because that's 2,000 avalanche, so it's like $200,000 at the moment. But what we're going to be able to do with it, which we're not going to disclose right now, but we've got some crazy exciting stuff coming, which Jose decides to text me when I'm sleeping at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wake up at 5 and I can't go back to sleep.
Awesome. Yeah, we're that's amazing. That's amazing, man. Like honestly, like our biggest thing too, as far as the liquidity goes, is our milestone goal is to get that phantom validator as well. It's kind of just a milestone goal that we set forth, and we're actually a little bit. I think we're approaching like the halfway mark. We're getting closer and closer. It's funny how the Phantom one is. I think the Phantom one's like more expensive than the Avalanche one. But
some of them are crazy.
Yeah, way more expensive.
Yeah, but that's great, man. Honestly, like providing like just helping out these different types of networks is the goal, right? Like that's what we are trying to literally build at Com. Is we want to be your go-to protocol when you're for blockchain services on the Phantom network, right? That's the whole idea behind us and like our long-term vision.
Same here. And I said one of the cool things that would be is if you guys need something done and there's nobody in your community that's able to provide it, or vice versa, we propose that a bounty. Like, say we need something from your community, or we need something done, we'll offer a bounty to people in your community so they can do it and they'll get paid in Vapor. So I think that would be pretty cool to do, and we'll kind of try to come up with like a common chat room where we can share bounties and ideas where both communities can see it. I think that would be cool. That'd be probably the most transparent way to do it, and have some of the devs in there and some of the project leads in there and maybe some of the mods.
100% agree with you on that, man. Couldn't have honestly said it better than myself. Like I said in the beginning, before we associate ourselves or just talk to any guys, we like to talk to them beforehand. And you guys have met. You guys have good character up here. Like seriously, you guys are just good guys in general. Good people, and as long as we all like have a common goal, and essentially we keep just seeing fit, and we're holding each other up to standards. I think that's really important as well. That we kind of hold each other to a set of standards and code and ethics and what have you. I think that this can turn into something very, very great in the future. Yeah,
I think it would be a very good strategic partnership for sure. I think the coolest part about all of this, honestly, and I've said it before, I think this is our third AMA. I think it's the third. But I think the coolest part about all of this is that everybody's from all over the world. I mean, I haven't even met Jose in person yet. He's planning on coming to the States sometime in April. But the fact that we're able to put these projects together, build communities from all around the world is probably the coolest thing to me.
Oh, 100%, man. Like it's honestly amazing to see. And this is like the one beauty that I love about this industry in itself is there's so much change happens every single day. Feels like it's like 5 times longer than it should be, right?
Yeah.
There's so much things that keep happening, and constantly innovating and what have you. This is like what we love to do, and I guess that's just the beauty of just being early in this industry in itself. There's so much we have to learn. There's so much that's happening. As long as as long as there's full transparency and like Moon suggesting that we're trying to create like a true DAO system implemented, I feel like this could be a very good start and an opening for like DeFi 3.0.
Yeah,
if we consider this as DeFi 3.0.
No, I agree.
I will also like to add there that I'm fascinated at how things work work so good, because you know what, like this is something that you wouldn't see in any other industry, I think, because basically you can meet all these amazing people from all over the world. You can work with them, you can trust them, and you have the blockchain there actually to help you, because you can set up like multi-signature wallets. You can have like everything is transparent. Everything is there. Of course, there will always be people with bad intentions, sadly, but it amazed me that how I met Tom, how we can work together, trust each other, and we haven't meet in person. And well, hopefully we can do that, fix that in a couple of months.
Yeah, I think it's so cool that it's just the blockchain makes it so accessible for anybody across the world to kind of just interact with something that's decentralized. So you'll never have like one location. Like it's not just going to be based in the US or in the EU. It's going to be everywhere. So I think it's just awesome that we can meet foreign people internationally without the need for like centralization, like being the part that kind of kicks people away from each other. So yeah, the blockchain, awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I would think it's a good time to take some questions. I think people get a pretty clear view of where this partnership is headed. That we're both about our communities, helping. I think DeFi in general, growing our communities, showing that we're transparent, and that I think we both like that people doubted us when we came in, and we're willing to put the work in to show that they can trust us, and we've got staying power.
Oh, exactly. So yeah, if anybody in the audience have any questions regarding our protocol or a specific protocol, by all means.
Yeah, Bully has a question. I'm going to approve him here. Hey, bud. Bully BTC, can you hear us?
You gotta come off mute there, Bully.
Sorry guys, I didn't know I was still on mute. I just wanted to ask a really quick question. What do you guys see as being your most profitable feature coming up in the near future?
For us at least, we are working on
So
game.
yeah,
We don't want to disclose that too much.
yeah. So yeah, exactly. As far as what's going on in the background, as far as what we're developing, the reason why we don't want to disclose it too much isn't just to be transparent with you guys. It's just more so we have to flesh it out completely. But the direction that we are going with Comet in itself, like we said, we want to provide blockchain services on top of just on top of Comet in itself, and the direction we're headed is Meta.
Yeah, so for us, kind of the same thing. I think there's maybe one or two people in this chat besides Jose and I that know what's coming, and you'll find out next week. But it does have to do with the fact that we purchased an Avalanche validator node today. So you will get it. You'll get an idea next week of where we're headed, and it's the same thing. Providing services on the blockchain through the Avalanche node. So you'll find out soon, and we're super excited for it.
Will you guys be dropping any hints on Twitter?
Oh, you already know. Man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm there. I have already. They're just very subliminal.
Yeah, and like going back on our topic, this is just something that specifically Moon is and we're just the team's extremely excited about. We do love the NAS and DAS. We do love that type of industry itself, but we kind of want to sway away and kind of just be essentially our own kind of entity in itself, and just keep producing cool products. And you guys were all going to kind of be in for a ride on that. And I think you guys will really like the game too.
Yeah, same thing. I mean, we're planning on some gamification. We don't want to spread ourselves, too thin, too fast. There are a lot of different things that we want to do. Eventually listing a game that coincides with a staking pool. Is something that we want to do. But yeah, the big thing should come sometime early next week after our app update. So thanks for your question, Bully.
Thank you guys. I'm bullish.
Awesome. Thanks, bud.
Your name, man. Peace out.
We got 3 more questions in here. Hang on. Spidey coming in. Spidey Specs or something like that. Spidey, you just got to hit that unmute button there, bud.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
How are you?
I'm good. I just had a quick question. So, I'm new to nods, and I've been doing some research when it comes to strong nod, vapor nods, gala, flux, all that. But I just want to know what exactly is the difference between vapor nods and every other nod that you guys are trying to make.
I'll actually let Jose. He could probably explain it a lot better than I can, but I'll let Jose take that one in terms of the technicalities, behind it and stuff like that. If you want to take that one, Jose.
Yeah. So, for us, it is completely different because, for example, if you take Flux nodes, they are making decentralized computing. So we started following the trend in the DeFi as a service space, and we also pivoted from that idea when following as also the hybrid model between providing like a real value for the blockchain, adding nodes and some validator nodes, as well as providing a way for our community to diversify in DeFi and get yields, put the treasury to work for the community, right? So I think that's our differentiation, and we hope with the upcoming services is going to be even better.
And just to kind of go off them for us, as far as us, Spotty, to be honest, just to give you the most honest answer as possible, in the beginning, there is not much separation from a lot of these different protocols, right? Yep. It takes time. A lot of that just takes time, and you'll see over time which protocols are kind of pushing features out, and they're, like I said, like up to the standards that we want, which is what we saw in Vapor, which is why we kind of wanted to set this up for you guys, and saying that just so you guys have kind of just other options on the table. But it just takes time to show our separation. That's why we're huge on providing more utility for our token and want to go with the gamification aspect of it. We do love nodes of the service by all means, just because it's also just fan of being proof of stake, like it just benefits the network. So we're all for just, as you can tell, we're extremely bullish on Phantom. So if you're bullish on Phantom, then my goal is to make home your go-to protocol when you join this network, Moon, do you have anything else like on that subject as far as like what separates us, or I don't know, Spotty, if I answered your question?
Yeah, in the long term, we plan on just separating ourselves through the services we provided, the utility. So a lot of things are going the DOS route, right? Or the primary, like just NOS route. So it's just nodes and investments. We want to be a little bit more than that. So
yeah. And like initially, like we do love DeFi as a service, as a concept. It's beautiful. I do think at some point it does need to be fleshed out just a little bit. So that's why in the beginning, everything that we're focusing on as far as the liquidity goes is to invest back into our protocol. We believe that it's just like any other business. We want to invest in ourselves in the beginning and support other protocols uprising and what have you. And then as time kind of goes on, that's when we kind of start diversifying our assets. And, hopefully and as long as we're in good collaboration with Vapor and Thor and what have you, I think that having that and as a future, like having that bridge open is definitely a very good possibility and a very good option for us too.
It's crazy because the same things that you guys say are the exact same things that Jose and I have said from the beginning. Is we started the same way as as all these other projects. We got inspiration from the DOS projects that had launched, but then we're like, all right, well, what now? They're all rugging, but we didn't come here with those intentions. How do we evolve? How do we make sure that we stay? How do we make sure that we give back to our community and help support our token? And every day, I'd have to say, for the past 2 weeks, Jose and I talk about adding something that will bring some sort of utility, and how we can create an ecosystem and make our token the focal point of that ecosystem, so that we can continue to invest in projects, sell off the profits or sell off the stakes, and then continue to buy vapor nodes on the market and support the price. And it's every day that it's like, it's wow, all right, we can do this. Yeah, sometimes it's going to be baby steps to get there, but it's all about focusing on our community and making sure that we're there to support them, even though we started as a DOS type system.
And it makes sense, man. Like, at the end of the day, guys, like, you guys are kind of saying the bigger goal. Like, we want to be much more than just passive income, right? Although passive income is great and nice, and we all want that, we actually truly want, all of us, right? We want to provide utility. We want to provide something of use for it. Like, think about Ethereum, right? People aren't, like, if you get 300% APY on Ethereum, you'd be going nuts, right? Like, that's the goal. That's the direction we really want to take this, is really be that token for Phantom.
Great question, Spidey. Reach out.
Appreciate it.
It's a health hustle now. There you go, health.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah.
Perfect. First of all, I'd just like to say it's a pleasure to be invested in the project vapornodes. I actually got involved in the first week of release. My first question is a very simple question, but I'm not very aware of it. So, an avax validator. Could someone just explain specifically what that means? Because, like I said, I haven't really got an idea what that is. If that's okay.
Thank you. So essentially we get to participate and support the Avalanche network by running a validator node. So we can set our own fees for the amount of Avalanche that we get. Obviously, if we set it higher, we're not going to, process as many transactions. But by running that validator node, which is currently 2,000 AVAX, we get, I think right now it's like 11% per year back in stake. We get fees from gas from transactions that we process, and then a few other things that we don't want to highlight on yet. But it's going to give us the capabilities to do a lot more with our system that we think can help us take us to the next level.
Wow.
But I think that's it. I mean, Jose, anything else that you think that, I think it's just a showing our faith and that we're dedicated to the Avalanche network is a main goal of ours, since, that's where we launched. We don't want to, launch another chain like, some other projects did right now. But I think that's showing our faith in the Avalanche network. It's great. It's cheap. It's not like Ethereum. It's nice and fast. And I think a lot of people love it. Jose might have more that he can add about the importance of the Avalanche validator node, though.
Okay, no, thank you for explaining. That was a good introduction to it. And my second question is for vapornodes. I've seen a tweet saying that eventually you'll be able to add to your node for people that already have nodes. I don't know if I'm being too pushy or whatnot. I'm just wondering, when will that be available to do? Or is that not something you're willing to say right now? Is that something that's in the works?
I can't speak for Jose, but I believe he wants to have it ready to go for the next UI update, which should be soon.
Yeah.
So we're adding the capability to, if you don't know, we're more like the louverture model where, like we started out as a minimum node and no max. So you could make a node of 10 million if you wanted to, but the minimum was 100. So soon you're going to be able to merge two nodes. So if you accidentally created like a node that was 500 when you wanted to create one that was 50,000 instead, you'll be able to merge those nodes. You'll be able to add on to nodes. You'll be able to rename your nodes. Some pretty cool updates coming with the UI. I believe if Jose wants to answer that question further, he can.
Okay.
Yeah, not much to add. We actually had the the UI update planned for the previous week, so we are already delayed. But yeah, we had the rewards update. We had many things to take care of. We launched the endpoints, and yeah, we decided to devote more time to get more features from all the feedback we see every day in the Discord, adding all the features that you were asking for, and should be able to deliver that this week.
No, that's
Definitely
completely.
this week.
That's fine. Yeah, as I said, we don't need no time frame. That's completely fine because I don't want to stress you lot out. And the last thing I want to say is, guys, I think it was a really good idea for vapornodes and Comb Financial to get together to do this AMA because I didn't really know too much about Comb, but now I'll be doing my due diligence after this AMA. Also, people that have come from Comb as well, they'll probably be exposed to vapornodes now. So I like what you're all doing, and I do appreciate you, and I'm here for the long run as well. So thanks for letting me speak, guys, and I'll be listening and I'll let you answer any other questions. Now, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Fred.
Nice one.
Of course, man. And that's the whole point of this, guys. Like at the end of the day, we want to provide as much exposure to different projects for you guys. You know, like we don't want all your eggs to be in like one protocol. At the end of the day, because we just stuff happens at all the time, and we want your guys' investment to be as secure as possible. So if there's cool projects coming up along and they have good morals and intentions and what have you, and they're showing utility case and innovations, by all means, you know, like we want to support as many people as we possibly can, just so you guys have as much exposure and most knowledge, right? Like at the end of the day, having as much knowledge about these protocols is going to be one of the best tools in your toolbox to kind of like see if this would be a project you're interested in investing into. So, Bully, I think you have another. You're actually a speaker, so if you have your raising your hand, you can go ahead and just unmute yourself.
Oh, I was gonna ask. You guys aren't a fork, or are you?
Yeah. Well, slightly. I completely revamped so I wouldn't say it's a fork anymore because usually it was mostly a template. But when we rewrote everything to have like the proxies and the multiple contracts, we did go away from like the like traditional, well, still slightly similar, but from like a code standpoint, it's completely different because our distribution system is different, our node management is different, the way we point to different contracts is a lot different. So we'd say it's a template, but the way we did everything was made like all new. That's why initially we didn't run into that many troubles. That's because we had everything all planned out. It was all revamped, and it was made to be scalable.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
And I actually have to leave early, so it was nice meeting you all. Thank you all, everybody, for attending, and hopefully, I can talk to you guys later.
Thanks for popping in, bud.
Yeah, thank you for your time, man. I appreciate that.
All right, we got some more questions here. I'll approve Styles.
Doing those dishes, eh?
No, not me. Styles, go ahead.
Gotta go off mute there, Styles.
Rud.
He's rugging himself. Well, if you want to bring up another speaker while Styles is still figuring out his mic situation, just to keep the momentum going, might be a good idea.
One's coming right now. Gooseman.
Yeah, and just a heads up too. When you bring somebody up, their headset goes completely blank for like 4 or 5 seconds. So bring them up and then mention that you brought them up, or before you bring them up.
All right.
Look at Renegade, man. This is why you're my lead mod, man. I love you.
All right, Gooseman. Just gotta hit that unmute button there, bud.
What's going on, guys? How are we doing today?
How are you?
Doing good, man. Been here since the beginning. I'm a big Comb investor, and fortunately, I missed the 32x on vapornodes launch, but it's good to It's good to hear the team over there speak. My main question really is, I think right now, Q4, we were really big on utility. Your projects had to really push utility for the investors. But I think going into 2022, the biggest thing for you guys is the age of partnerships. I really want to see what you guys can do together. If
100%.
you guys can collab and really make the connections to build maybe even potential a joint project would be something great that incentivizes all the investors in your own projects and to support each other marketing wise. And of course, what you guys said with back end and reviewing smart contracts, a second set of eyes is always great, right?
No, and completely, man. And like I know you and I, Marcus, we're in touch in like DMs and Discord, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like you always have great feedback suggestions. I always appreciate that. And this goes for anybody. If you guys always have any feedback or suggestions, I'm sure everybody in this call that's speaking would always love to hear you guys out because your guys' voice matters at the end of the day. But yeah, of course, man. Like at the end of the day, we want to formulate. We want to build bridges and not walls, right? So if there's any way we can make something work out that makes sense for Vapor and makes sense for Comb, by all means, like it would be foolish for us not to. Now, what those be, I can't say and speak in the future just because, obviously this has to be more internal and the communities of both protocols have to decide this, right? It can't just be like me doing this on a call and be like, hey, that just ruins the whole idea of decentralization. But like, no, completely. As far as like what we have in mind, as far as like I was saying, if we do something like that where we have kind of a stamp approval for all these protocols that we partner up with that kind of review our contracts and what have you, then that kind of saves us as far as trying to spend on liquidity on like an audit, which we will do an audit in the future. But currently for us too, is like, you're changing your contract constantly up. Getting an audit just is kind of pointless at the time being because we're changing a contract weekly. And by changing, we're improving, right? It's not like once everything kind of slows down, that's when, we're going to kind of get that full stamp audit approval. But at the same time, we want to use, like I said, our main goal at Comb right now for liquidity is for that validator. And then after that, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, I think what Jose, we went with, I think it was called Spy Wolf. I think it was like $1,500 or $1,600, and they had a 3-day turnaround. Pretty invasive report about our contract and stuff like that. They'll highlight if there's any errors, any potential security risks, and they'll give you a checklist of things that they went over, whether or not you passed it, stuff like that. And it was well worth it. And it's actually funny since we we gave a shout out to them when they got it back to us, and it's been nice. I mean, we've been seeing them get a lot more headlines, a lot more followers, a lot more partnerships on their end. So I think it kind of validates, us a little bit more because they weren't that well known. But at the time we didn't have $60,000 for a Certic audit,
No, 100%. It makes sense. You guys are trying to build ecosystems and changing a contract constantly. You can't be spending $60,000 on an audit when it's and kind of rendered useless maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks later. I have a question for the Thor representative. Since they have a deeper treasury, and they're on AVAX at the moment, I'd love to hear their thoughts on what's going on with time moving to Phantom and the growth of the Phantom chain.
What I thought, pussy.
Not like if you. I think that was directed to you, brother.
Yeah.
You're on.
Loki.
I'm so sorry, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I was just distracted there at my Discord. What was the question?
My question was, with you guys, for sure, your project's been around longer than Comb and vapornodes, and my question for you is, you guys being on AVAX at the moment, and time moving over to Phantom, or potentially just doing some big things with Phantom. What are your thoughts on Phantom at the moment?
Well, we love Phantom. I think Phantom is going to have a fantastic 2022. I've actually had the privilege of speaking with the CTO as well as the CEO of the Phantom Foundation. Both guys are really, really good. I think they're going to be in for a fantastic year moving forward. We over at Thor also really believe in the Phantom ecosystem, even though we are also on avax as our main. That's the reason we're starting up 2 Phantom Validators. We'll just like how Vapor has the avax validator node, we'll have 2 Phantom validator nodes, and I think that's going to help strengthen our relationship with different cross chains. It's really important for us not just to support the single chain that we're hosted on, but because we really believe in improving the entire DeFi culture, in changing the entire DeFi culture, we need to look at supporting and helping out other chains while still providing a nice ROI to our protocol.
Yeah, it's
That's
well
a good
said.
answer. Appreciate that.
I was actually going to kind of say it was funny because I think Jose originally wanted to launch on Matic, and one of the things I said about listing on Avalanche, and one of the reasons we decided to is there were a lot of node plays or DOS plays on Avalanche. I said a lot of these people that are in these, including ourselves, because I was in Thor and I was in Louverture before we even started. I think I said a lot of these people, including ourselves, will take some of those profits, and rather than having to bridge and do all this stuff, they'll just roll it right over to something else that's on the same chain. And it's funny because a lot of people listed on Avalanche, and so many of them are gone now. But we're happy with where we did launch.
I think them leaving the industry also it helps me out. And it helps out all of our good protocols when we can start to see the oversaturation of DeFi as a service and nodes as a service protocols, and the bad ones start to die out, and we have a survival of the fittest scenario. I think that's only a net benefit for both our protocols as well as their investors. Every investor that's within one of our protocols, I think especially with Thor being the oldest one here now, we've really stood the test of time. We've gone through the massive lows and the massive highs, and we're sticking around. And I think it's going to be the same thing with Vapor. I just think it's really important for us not just to focus on the avax chain. I think it's really important if we want to make the institutionalized changes to DeFi as a whole to really change this culture. That's what I am with the Union of Transparency. I have another project called Hive Investments that will be launching on Matic as well. What we're looking to do is we're looking to create a cross-chain ecosystem that promotes safety and reliability to their investors. Through a bunch of different protocols, Comb being one of them, that holds up the overall vision of proper communication and transparency with the investors and promoting safe spaces for investors to invest in. Essentially, and I've said this many times on Thor AMAs and Empower AMAs and all the other AMAs that I've done, but I'm a firm believer that regulations are going to come to DeFi. I think the first thing that's going to be toppled over is stable coins. I think after that, the regulators are going to turn their eyes over to DeFi, and I think it's really important for us to demonstrate to the regulators that we're attempting to self-regulate and self-police this industry, and potentially have a role in creating new regulations rather than letting a bunch of boomers who fundamentally don't understand our industry regulate us into obscurity.
Well said.
Yeah, honestly, I could not have said that better myself. You already know my stance on this completely. I'm all for that. Having this cross-chain kind of partnerships between us, and we all have the same common goal, I can see that this is definitely working out really well for everybody. Tuning in and just protocols in general and the longevity of it.
It's a net benefit. It's a net benefit for all of us, and that's the whole idea. Is to I'm really tired of the reductive thinking that happens with a lot of protocols. Whenever they see another protocol that comes out, maybe in the same space on a different chain, whatever, and they want to treat them as like Voldemort and be like the big enemies that we need to fight against. And I think those zero-sum games of thinking about DeFi, I think those days need to be pushed ahead of us. We need to evolve this entire industry, and that happens by understanding this is not a zero-sum game. There's not one protocol that's going to beat out all the other protocols. There's going to be a bunch of protocols that exist within a harmonious union. And that's going to be the long-term solution that helps hedge investors' bets and have, multiple protocols that they can diversify their portfolios in, but also, allows good protocols to work together and help box out the bad actors. I think that's really important, and that's why, I've had great conversations with you guys over at Comb, why I'm a part of Vapor, why I'm a part of Hive, why I'm a part of Power, and of course my role at Thor. This is the overarching goal that I'm trying to achieve, and every day we continue to make further progress towards that goal.
Great. Well, I think we should either. I don't know if any of you guys in there have one more last question, or we.
I got 4 pending questions. We can make them quick if you want.
Yeah, and I got one from the Discord too that me and Nylock were pinged on.
All right, you want to do that one first?
It is to Comb, yeah. Comb has set up like a Thor type fork. Ask them why they need to create another token called Nectar, or how does Nectar help the Comb token ecosystem?
Yeah, so as far as you guys kind of heard, we're going more meta. So the utility case of Nectar will be a lot more showcased when we launch. However, right now, the biggest benefit of the Nectar token is that you can avoid taxes, right? You can avoid Uncle Comb. Basically, we want to provide as much incentives to hold nodes as possible. At the same time, we want to keep having that. We want our investors to be rewarded, right? And basically, the people that are just trying to swing trade and what have you to be taxed. We don't want them to be punished, right? At the end of the day, it is what it is. Just people are either traders or investors, what have you. So the use case of Nectar currently is it's a compound token. There's no tax associated with your claiming rewards, or suppose you had like excess Comb in your wallet. You can basically wrap that and create a Nectar, and then also at the same time you can send that Nectar to another address if you want to. And the purpose of that is to create a node at the moment. But the use case of it will really truly shine once we fully go meta. But for now, it's just a way to avoid taxes.
Cool. Hope they heard it.
It's kind of funny because the previous conversation was regulations, right? So, but it is what it is.
I'll invite. We got 4 more questions here.
No worries.
Those 4, and then we'll wrap it up. Just a degen. I'm going to approve you, and then you're going to cut out for a second, then you got to unmute yourself.
There he is. Oh, I thought I saw him there for a second, and now
for a second, and he muted himself, maybe.
Well, if there's another person who has a question, what I normally do for Twitter Spaces AMA is I bring up a couple people. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, it was just a quick question. Sorry, I was just going to say, in the future, will there be like a joint partnership between kind of Thor and Vapor and Comb? Like in terms of, will there be? I think this is more kind of towards low key. Will Comb and Vapor join? The Union of Transparency, or will there be like a partnership in between you guys, or is that something that we could see potentially in the future?
Oh, absolutely, without a question. So, really what's going to be tying all of these protocols, that's Vapor, that's Comb, that's Hive, that's Thor, that's Power, is the Union of Transparency. That's really stage 1, is tying all of these similar protocols together, all the good ones together, and to band together to create that safer ecosystem. But moving forward, we also want to look at exploring the larger scale of DeFi. So, we want to partner with good DAOs. We want to partner with good yield farms and liquidity pool providers. What we want to do is we really want to create an entire ecosystem within DeFi that promotes safety and guarantees investors. It doesn't guarantee investors that the protocols will work. There's always going to be things that fail that we can't control, but that all of the protocols are run by legitimate people and people who are looking to do the things right. Treat their investors correctly, be completely transparent, and communicate clearly with their investors are pillars and foundational points that we really take seriously. This is clearly, I'm sure a lot of people were not expecting me to be over here at the Vapor and Comb AMA, but I think this really shows the power of the Union of Transparency, and the reason why I'm here is because I not only know the devs over at on the Vapor team. I'm part of the Vapor team over there, even if I'm not the most active in the world. But I've had lots of conversations with the Comb guys, and I really very much believe in the Comb guys' vision as well. I think that they have the right ideals. I've had many in-depth conversations with them, and I'm feeling very, very good about them as well. So over time and relatively soon, we're actually going to be starting a completely independent organization that will have its own website, have its own social profiles, and as you can imagine, the union member protocol leaders will each have a say on how the union is going to work in the long term.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, they're really happy about that. Yeah,
I'm just wondering how you have you somehow find 36 hours in a 24-hour day to be in all these discords. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And new project launches, Nylock is in there setting it up.
I work really hard, and I work hard for the singular goal that I have, which is to change this entire space. And that means working 20 hours a day. That means working 20 hours a day. I'm not I don't shy away from hard work, and I try to make sure that I'm present everywhere, in every protocol and in every server that I support.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Always.
Thank you so much, man. Especially for the past few days. Many don't know, we don't have a partnership with Colin or what have you, but he's gone out and helped us out as far as putting in words in with some the foundation, what have you, and he just did that out of his goodwill. It really true, and that's honestly one of the main reasons why we're so adamant about this, because we truly want quality representation with the folks that we represent. We associate ourselves for a protocol, and Colin is one of the number one guys for that as well. And you guys all know that, you've seen that. He's, in my opinion, he's a huge asset for Thor. And I'm very excited to see the future with all these protocols that are just going to kind of be under the umbrella.
Well, I think the future's really bright for the entire space. We had to go through the growing pains and weed out the bad protocols. I think we're coming to the other side of that now. But the union, I think, is going to become a major game changer in the space of DeFi. We're all very, very early in the stages of this. But as time goes on, I'm talking with publicly traded corporations, and I'm talking with SEC members that might be on the advisory side of the Union of Transparency. What we're really trying to build is the Better Business Bureau of DeFi, and that's something that all good protocols need to have a hand in.
Completely agree.
Agreed. All right, we'll take the last few questions here. Secret Keys Service, you had a question for a while there coming up.
Hey. Okay. How are you? Okay, so the question I wanted to ask was, I recently DM'd vapornodes and was asking about their tweet when they said, I don't know if it was a teaser tweet, but they pretty much said, crazy to believe that the floor for a node will be 100K vpnd at 100K a node. Question is, what will the floor be when you can blank them? I just wanted to know, can we clarify here what the blank is?
I kind of confirmed it in there. It's something that we've essentially talked about a little bit. It would probably be a contract migration eventually, but if we can turn them into an NFT, and you could sell them on the secondary market eventually or something like that, is what we hope we'd be able to do. I don't think it would obviously go at market value. It might be at half of market value, but at the same time, if you can then free up that cash, say if market value is 100,000 vapor nodes to buy, a node, but you can sell it for 50 grand and free up that money. If you have to, you're going to do it. So we do hope that someday we're able to get to the point where people can list their nodes on the secondary market and sell them if they want.
Thank you. I just wanted to hear you say it. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, bud. Let's see. Some guy. Or just hit that unmute button and you're good to go.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
All right,
Doing
bud.
pretty good. Thanks for doing this and talking to everybody and the transparency. It's really appreciated. Both projects have touched on something that I want to know a little bit more on if you're willing to share. But you both mentioned gamification, and I'm assuming you're talking, possibly a future within some form of blockchain gaming. And I think all of us that pay attention see that that's going to be an industry that's probably going to become the largest aspect of crypto, especially the metaverse. I mean, look at the gaming industry. It's killing every other form of entertainment. And so I was wondering if you guys can touch on where you might see yourselves going, maybe in the way of like a Gala node, which I think we can all agree that those nodes are, oh my God, I wish I had one of them. But if you don't want to reveal anything too much because you don't want to have anything out there that might not come true, can you comment on the future of that space in terms of both of your protocols and how they could be involved?
You can go ahead, Comb, if you want.
Yeah. So obviously we so this would be like a 3-week plan for us, right? Like we're fleshing out the complete back end of it. Moon himself and our dev team that's like our biggest goal that we're setting up. As far as like how like we're gonna play a part in it, I believe that right now kind of what we're kind of modeling are kind of like tycoon games, which are kind of like business simulation games. AKA like we really want to keep you guys engaged and constantly have you guys, like monitor your hives and what have you, right? There's a lot of things that can be done as far as like going into the meta space, and that's why we're really excited for it. We all basically, I think like almost every guy, like majority of case, like people are kind of in here, they had some sort of background in gaming, or everybody kind of played a game before, and we know how fun that can be. And it's something that's just always interested the comp team in itself, which is why that's the direction we're headed, is we're going meta. Like for us, like that's the goal. Obviously, you can, as that goes, Vapors touch up a great point where your nodes can turn to NFTs and all that stuff. So you can be expecting a lot more gamification as far as in our way. And when I say it's coming, it's like, we're talking about a few weeks, right, for us. As far as getting it fleshed out and kind of the game designs implemented, you guys will have full like knowledge beforehand. I just don't want to give you guys I don't want to say something and then not deliver through, if that would make sense, right? But that is the direction. That is 100% we're going, which is one of the main reasons why we are extremely open for partnerships and what have you, is because we know that we're headed like towards different direction, even though that they might go a similar direction, what have you. The route that we want to go to is just it's just our own path, right? And at the same time, I keep striving just to provide more good exposure for you guys as investors to kind of know like what kind of protocols are quality out there right now and what protocols aren't. It's like what Colin was mentioning is once the OT kind of becomes more official and has its own page and all that stuff, that would be a huge, great resource for you guys specifically to kind of, or just newcomers in general, right? You guys will have kind of a sense of like a sense of security when it comes to your investments. At the same time, the direction of like whichever protocol you guys kind of your vision, like if our vision of our protocol aligns with yours and you kind of enjoy that, by all means, right? And if it doesn't, there's no harm, no foul. And that's, I hope I kind of answered. I kind of went on a tangent. Sorry if I went on a tangent. You get it. But that is the direction we're headed. Goose had some great suggestions, by the way, for us, and definitely know that we're going to incorporate that, my man. But Vapor, I don't know if you want to touch base on his question or we answer Goose's.
Yeah. So, like we said, I think gamification does, keep people engaged. It keeps them coming back. If they can find a better strategy than somebody else, they're always trying to find ways to make themselves better so they can win the game, right? So it keeps people engaged. I think the back end of what our gamification is going to be is staking pools, and trying to stay in a game as long as you can, which we do think will help with, price appreciation. So that's just a little bit of a hint. We're not that far away either. We're really pushing right now to get the UI updates out there. And then the second piece of the Avalanche validator node, which will probably be like, I'm going to say our most important step that we'll ever take in our project. It's so early on, but I think it'll be the biggest piece that we'll ever come up with. But yeah, so gamification's coming. It's meant to keep people engaged, and we're excited about it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate both your projects and what you guys are doing.
Thanks, bud.
Guys, can I just ask a quick question? I'm just in the vapornodes Discord, and there's a few people asking a particular question. Not sure if you got the answer. So people are asking, Vapor, so are you thinking about burning any tokens in the future or anything like that? Or is that not something that's entered your mind? Or I know it's a bit of a
you put me on the spot there, but it is.
I do apologize.
It is. It's been discussed, and it will continue to be discussed, and there will be a certain mechanism for doing it. So, yeah.
No worries. I'll let them know in the Discord. As I said, there's a few people asking, so I'm just trying to do my part for the community.
Thank you.
No, it's cool. Don't worry about it.
Thanks, bud. All right, here's one more question, and we're gonna wrap it up. BB House. BB, you there? BB, just hit that unmute button there at the bottom of your screen.
Hey guys, sorry.
There you go.
Sorry about that. It took a while for my connection to start up. But yeah, look, guys, congratulations on the project so far. I've been invested since day one, actually, along with a whole bunch of these DAS projects. My question is on sustainability. I think when a lot of these early DAS projects started up, it was clear that their reward structure was not sustainable, and they seem to have like a runway of a couple of weeks, and then a couple of weeks later you see that the price crashes, and a lot of them either give up, rug, whatever. So my question is, with your current rewards structure, how long do you think it can be sustainable from now? And what are the things that you guys are doing to for the protocol to make its own money rather than having to rely on new investors to pump up the pool?
That's a great question. I can go first on this one if you want. So yeah, we originally rolled out with 6% daily, and then pretty quickly rolled it back to 1%. And obviously 6% is not sustainable. So far, we've seen that 1% has been successful. It's helped us to get some sustainability in terms of bringing new investors, because they don't think it's 6%. Okay, that's BS. I'm just going to scroll right past it. And then some of the things that we've invested in from building up our treasury, like strong nodes. Right now we've got 11 strong nodes. So I think that can afford us, a couple million tokens per month buyback at the moment, or 10, 20, 30 million at the moment. So one of the things we're maybe going to concentrate on for a little bit is even trying to compound those strong nodes and get to 100 strong nodes. We were talking about it today, that I think that would help us buy back like $1.2 million per year in vapor nodes on the market, after the fees and all the stuff that are paid to Strong. I think that's one of the ways that we're going to do it, and then just continuing to have a community that will market itself by bringing other people in, and we'll continue to invest in things that we think that we can make money on, to recycle that money back into vapor nodes and back into our ecosystem. And I think the next part of, like I said, I've hinted on with our avalanche node, will be something that will help us get sustainability much easier.
Yeah, and like just to kind of go off that as well, on speaking from just Comet's perspective, sustainability is obviously our utmost priority for you guys, right? Like that is our top priority as far as we prefer side action versus extreme volatility within the market. which is why like you can see that our rewards are slightly lower as far as like the ROI comes, like 0.9 or something like that percent, and your ROI would be over like a span of like about less than 4 months. It just depends on which type of hive, aka node, you guys choose to go into. As far as other features we're implementing, that's why we're huge on utility innovation. Like we want to provide a lot more use case for our token, which is why the gamification aspect, like creating a PTE, would be amazing, right? Then you guys can kind of see and play around with that and explore our trying to build. At the same time, our goal is to get the validator, although the yields aren't going to be that high, it's like 14%. We can do liquid staking from that, aka which in other words means that you can take a loan out on our stake and we can invest that how we choose to invest, obviously through the choice of the investors. I do know Moon is working on yield optimizers at its current state, so we're going to have vaults for you guys, and basically have it kind of harvest every 15 minutes, like Grim and Reaper right now do it every 30 minutes. So theoretically, our yield should double by us doing that. That's kind of a little gist to kind of give you like a little quick summary of like what we're the direction we're kind of headed to promote sustainability. And yeah, I hope that kind of answered your question. But the main thing is we're striving on huge on this innovation and kind of going more towards that gamification route where you guys can actually utilize the Comb token or Nectar, like what have you. We really want you guys to we want to be more than just a NAS or like a hybrid protocol is the best way to word it. And that's not shaming any other hybrid. We just that's just a personal endeavor that we have on the Comb team, and we're excited for that, to be honest, and seeing how it will play out.
Yeah, same. I agree. Well said. And like we got to remember too that there's always going to be other protocols like Yearn Finance and stuff like that come out where we're going to be able to deposit big chunks of money, sell those profits off, put them back into our own token, and support them on the market. So there's always going to be something coming out, whether it's for an extended period of time with a high yield or something that is high and fizzles out. We're always going to try to find ways to be innovative and cycle that money back in. We do have one more question. I could take that and then we can wrap it up, all right?
Yeah, fine.
Nodes are us coming in.
Oh, you're unmuted, man. All right.
Hey, what's up? Did anyone call me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When it transitioned in, I didn't hear it. It went blank for a minute. Hey, so what's up, guys? Just wanted to come in here and chat for a little bit. I'm about to hop back on the bike and head home, so I figured I'd hurry up and try to get up here. Got a question for you, Vapor, if you don't mind.
Sure.
You were saying that you guys had 11 strong nodes, and that's kind of something you guys were utilizing to distribute rewards and to kind of for a stability aspect of it. Have you guys taken into account when they start doing diminishing returns?
Not yet. We do think they obviously will. But same thing. I mean, they're going to recycle money the same way, we are. They're going to recycle it to help their project, which even when they do diminishing returns, I think they might see an increase in price. They're always going to be sought after. I think the returns are always going to be there. And I don't think they're near close to where they're going to end up market cap wise. I think they're 80, 90 million market cap right now, right? I don't think we're close to seeing where they'll end up. So I do think that it's something that we're going to be able to rely on for a while. And then what we also have to think is, let's see, we invested in some things that we thought were undervalued, like Danielle from Time Wonderland is taking over sushi. So we invested $10,000 in time, $10,000 in sushi. I think it was $15,000 in convex. So some things that we thought are undervalued that if they take off, we can sell off as well, and then help to recycle that stuff back in, and always support the coin on the market.
Okay, and that's good. I mean, you know, I'm in the same belief system as you, and I hold a decent bag of strong, and I'm in the same belief system. Every time they've done any type of diminishing or cutting or splitting rewards, the price is corrected to recognize that. You know, like when they spliced it from point 2 to point 1,
Correct.
it went from like 250 to 500 like overnight.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, I definitely agree with the correction of that, and hopefully that will be sustainable, you know, for many years to come. All right, well, I do appreciate it. That's the only question I had. You guys are doing great, man. You guys look awesome. Definitely been looking into you guys for the last couple of weeks, or last couple, more or less last week. But yeah, I definitely appreciate everything. And I hope you guys have a great day.
Thanks, bud. All right, I think that's a wrap.
Well, first off, thank you, Vapor. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and thank you guys for hosting this one. I guess we can be expecting another one in the future, and Com will host it in itself. But thank you for taking the lead on this one and hosting for it.
No worries. Thank you guys for everybody for participating. For those of you that are all around the world, I mean, I know for like Jose, it's like 1:25 in the morning. Some of you guys stay up hours upon hours, mixing in the Discord and stuff like that. So we appreciate all of you. And we'll try to get that chat set up so that people can see it.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys. Stay tuned. Exciting updates for both protocols, and we appreciate you guys all listening and taking the time out of your day for us.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
All right. Just one more thing I wanted to say here is, and I close out every AMA by saying this: we're all gonna make it, guys.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
See ya.
All right. Ciao, guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.